What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, here for the Green Knight review. Before we get into it, thank you to Steve, Kimberly, and Karen, the Movie Meal patrons. If you want to be a member of the Patreon, go link down in the description below. You can get some Movie Meals merch as well. Follow us on Letterbox, Twitter, hit the like button, all that great stuff. Hit that dislike button. Join so many who have attacked me because I thought Lady Gaga's accent might have been a bit shaky in about 3 seconds of a trailer. So why don't you
You
go
said
join that?
what? Get him!
Exactly. But we're not here for that. Just poking fun at myself here. But we Green Knight, just got a chance to see it. The director's David Lowery, correct?
Mm-hmm.
David Lowery made Pete's Dragon, funny enough, as well as the Ghost, a ghost story, which is pretty good. Pete's Dragon's also a little gem. It's
It's so
about
good.
it's based off of a poem in real life, about the son or the nephew of King Arthur and his quest to seek adventure and knighthood. Interesting film. So let's just jump into it. So Kyle, what were your positives of the movie?
My positives were how bonkers this movie is. I love A24 for this reason because they know how to make kind of weird films, but they know like how to tell interesting stories, despite the movies being as weird as it is. And I appreciate that, David Lowery and A24 just, decided to be gun ho about this movie and go about it. And I think the final product really speaks for itself, and it just shows how good of a movie it ended up becoming. All around, from the production design, the costume design, the music, the sound. My theater has a terrible sound system, but the sound was really good when I was watching this movie. And just everything on the technical side of things like really made this story come together a lot more than I think it would have had it been in the hands of a different director as compared to David Lowery. And I think what really stood out to me in making me go through this interesting almost character piece was Dev Patel, excuse me, because he's just taking up every single moment of the screen, and you just are watching this character go through his arc. And while you don't necessarily love his character, it's just Dev's way of portraying this character that really just makes you want to spend time with it, even through the good and the bad. He's just being such a terrific actor when it comes to portraying this character, even though he's not necessarily telling you how it feels. It doesn't, make it easy for you to follow along with the story. The acting really helps you understand the character a lot and the struggles and what he's trying to prove to himself and within his journeys. And also, side note, Alicia Vikander, it is so great to see you again. It has been a
Yeah,
while
that's the
since
same
we've seen
feeling I
her.
had. Same
Yeah,
feeling
it's
I
been a
had in
while
the
since
theater.
we've seen her, but we welcomed her back because it's not like she fell off a cliff when it came to acting or nothing. She just took a break when she was at the heights that she was reaching for the past couple of years, but she came back stronger as ever. Like, I really loved the roles that she was being used throughout this movie, and she was great as well. But it is definitely a movie for Dev to be front and center, and I think between him and David Lowery's vision, this movie just felt really complete to me, and I ended up really enjoying it.
Yeah, Alicia though, I mean, she's been acting. She's just been acting in movies we haven't seen, and some TV shows,
Oh, okay.
things like that. But it was a pleasant surprise because I hadn't seen her in a while. I actually felt similar about with Joel Edgerton, who's also in the movie.
Yeah.
I went into this movie blind as all heck. I didn't know that this was based off of a poem that is,
Hmm.
considered with the King Arthur lore. Knew nothing about it
Yeah.
at all.
Same.
And I did a lot of research when I left. So I left the movie very in a state of shock. I was like, this is now, I knew going in it was going to be weird, but I left being like I couldn't tell if this movie was awful or if this movie was really great. And I think as time has gone on, I've ended up thinking that I really enjoyed this movie. I've seen a lot of people paint it as a masterpiece. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I did really enjoy it. The acting is top notch. I really liked how it was shot. A lot of people will
Yeah.
not. A lot of people will absolutely hate how it is shot. It felt a lot like an episode of Game of Thrones. It gets a lot of hate. Episode 3 of season 8 gets a lot of hate of Game of Thrones for being too dark. It's shot very dark. It's hard to see some things. But I liked that. I actually thought the music was solid, but it didn't feel over the top amazing for me.
Hmm.
Compared to what I was seeing with the visuals. The visuals and the color was a lot better. The direction was really great. And it ended up being a story that I really, really appreciated and liked. I like when movies make me go home and I have to do research because I read up all about the poem. I read about David. I watched a couple interviews with David or read some interviews with David O'Lowery, who was talking about things that are not in the original poem that he added that are based off of different parts of history. And
Hmm.
I just liked the liberties he took. I liked the story. It was a very typical hero's journey, very, very typical Arthur, going out trying to accomplish the 5 virtues of what makes you a great man and a hero to come back honorable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of failure in the movie. I liked the direction, and the more I sat on it, the more I ended up really liking it. And it's a movie I actually think that I will like more seeing again now that I know more. And so I do want to see it again soon. But Kyle, did you have any negatives?
Not really off the top of my head. I mean, one will probably, say it will be on the opposite end of this movie. Like the movie just doesn't work for them, or they didn't like, how the movie was conveying the type of story that I was trying to do. There could be issues with the runtime. For me, the runtime wasn't bad at all. Like I just was really invested throughout the whole thing. So, it's pretty long on the other side of 2 hours, but it didn't feel that bad to me in any way. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm one of the people saying that this is a masterpiece. I'm not quite sure if I'm there yet because I just recently saw this movie. But for right now, anyway, I'm just really happy that I came in with maybe too high of expectations, but I still came away really enjoying this movie.
For me, I think there were times I thought it was a little hard to hear the actors, and I thought it took away from the aesthetic when your entire
Okay.
theater's real silent and it's hard to hear. And
Yeah.
I have a good sound system, and there is some on-screen text that happens throughout the movie. And I'm gonna be honest, maybe it's just because I'm a simpleton. I have a hard time reading old style English cursive, but I couldn't read
Ye
some of that.
old.
Uh,
Yeah.
and it took away for the movie for me. And maybe that's just because I'm dumb, and you can yell at me that that's because I'm dumb. But it's that was a small nitpick.
Yeah.
And there's a few things that I felt were left untouched. There were it was left. It's a movie that leaves you wondering. It's an ambiguous ending, so you're wondering some things that might be true or not true. And I
Hmm.
wish we had gotten a little bit more clarity on a couple of encounters we had throughout the movie. But for the most part, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a really great time. It's one of the better movies I've seen in a while. So yeah. Guys, what did you think of the movie, though? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share. I'll go do all that great stuff. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons. Go get some merch. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.